No one in Maple Ridge would ever forget the morning Anna Rivera collapsed. It was early February, cold enough that the air felt sharp, and the whole neighborhood was still waking up. Inside the little yellow house at the end of Willow Street, Anna, retired teacher, devoted mom, and the kindest woman most people had ever met, sat on the edge of her bed, trying to catch her breath. She had always been strong. Strong for her daughter, strong for her students, strong for everyone who leaned on her. But that morning, something inside her chest tightened. Her vision blurred, and she whispered to herself, "Not today, please, not today." Moments later, she collapsed. The ambulance came fast. The neighbors watched from their porches, hands over their mouths, trying to make sense of the flashing lights. When Anna reached the hospital, doctors spoke in careful, measured tones. Her heart was failing, her recovery would be long, uncertain, maybe impossible. Her daughter, Elena, stayed by her side, holding her hand, whispering, "Mom, please come back to me." But for 3 days, Anna drifted in and out of consciousness, as still as a shadow. What no one realized, not even Anna, was that something powerful had begun the moment she was taken away in that ambulance. Something that couldn't be measured on any medical chart. It started with her elderly neighbor, Mrs. Langley, who had known Anna for 20 years. She saw the sirens, stepped outside with her shawl wrapped tightly around her shoulders, and whispered the simplest plea. "Please, let her stay." Then came the former students, kids Anna had taught long ago. Someone posted online asking for prayers and good thoughts. Within hours, messages came pouring in. Notes, voice memos, drawings, memories of kindnesses Anna had offered them without ever expecting anything in return. A grocery store clerk sent flowers. The local mailman organized a meal train. A group of parents crafted a giant card with dozens of signatures. It was small-town kindness, but on a scale Anna had never imagined. 3 days later, when she finally woke up, the first thing she saw was Elena's tearful smile, and the second was the windowsill, covered in flowers and cards. Anna's voice was barely a whisper. "Are those for me?" "All of them," Elena said, brushing her mother's hand with her thumb. "People love you, Mom. More than you know." Anna didn't answer. She didn't know what to say. She had spent so many years giving, she'd never realized how many people she had quietly lifted along the way. But every little message, every flower, every prayer was a thread pulling her back into life. A few days later, a volunteer brought her a stack of envelopes, letters from strangers, from families she had once taught, from people who had heard she needed encouragement. She opened them one by one. A child she'd never met had drawn a picture of a smiling woman surrounded by stick figure kids. In crooked marker letters, it said, "Thank you for being good." Another letter came from a former student who wrote, "You made me believe I was smart when I didn't think I was." I never forgot that. By the 10th letter, Anna's hands were shaking. "Why is everyone doing this?" she whispered. For the first time since her collapse, she cried. Not from fear, not from pain, but from the realization that she wasn't alone. She never had been, but the biggest surprise was still waiting. Just down the hall, a man named Jacob had been admitted after complications from a surgery. He was in his 40s, pale, withdrawn, and completely alone. No flowers, no cards, no visitors. One afternoon, as Anna took one of her first slow walks, she noticed him lying there in silence. She hesitated at his door, then gently asked, "Mind if I say hello?" He gave a small, startled nod, and from that moment, a quiet connection formed. Anna visited him the next day, and the next. Sometimes she talked, sometimes she just sat beside him and read. Sometimes they didn't speak at all, but her presence lit something inside him, something that had almost gone out. On her 5th visit, she found him crying. He wiped his eyes quickly, embarrassed. "I'm sorry, I don't want to make you uncomfortable." "You're not," she said softly. "What's wrong?" He took a long, shaky breath. "I wasn't planning on being alive," he admitted. "The surgery, I didn't care if I woke up." He paused. "But then you showed up. Every day, like it mattered that I existed." Anna felt her throat tighten. She reached out and held his hand. "Jacob, you helped me too. More than you know." He frowned. "I didn't do anything." "Yes, you did," she whispered. "I didn't know if I wanted to keep fighting. I felt like maybe my story was already written. But wanting to help you, wanting to show up for someone, it gave me a reason to stay." Their hands remained clasped in the quiet of the hospital room, two people holding on to each other's fragile hope. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a miracle in the supernatural sense. But it was human. And sometimes human is the most powerful thing there is. A few days later, Anna was finally discharged. As she carefully stepped outside the hospital doors, cane in hand, Jacob was waiting for her. "You ready?" he asked gently. She nodded. And together, they stepped into the sunlight. "You keep saying everyone helped you recover," Jacob said. "But honestly, you changed us too. All of us. Just by being who you are." Anna didn't believe she had done anything extraordinary. But as the weeks passed, her strength continued to grow, not the old strength built from carrying backpacks or running classrooms. But a deeper strength, a strength built from connection, empathy, gratitude. She began volunteering at the hospital, checking in on other patients, visiting Jacob during his outpatient therapy, writing thank you notes to people who had supported her. One autumn afternoon, Elena found her mother on the porch, watching children race their bikes down the street. "You look really happy," Elena said, sitting beside her. "I am," Anna admitted. "What changed?" her daughter asked. Anna smiled softly, eyes warm. "I realized something I think a lot of us forget. We don't heal alone. We heal because someone leaves a note, or says a prayer, or sits beside us when we're hurting. We heal because someone reminds us that we matter." She paused, letting the breeze wash over them. "And sometimes," she added, "we heal because someone else needs us. And suddenly we find a reason to keep going." The sun dipped behind the maple trees, filling the yard with warm gold. And in that simple, beautiful moment, Anna understood the truth she had been searching for all along. Her recovery wasn't mysterious. It wasn't a miracle. It was the natural return of every kindness she had ever given. A circle, quiet, constant, powerful, coming back to her exactly when she needed it most. Because in the end, the heart heals best when it beats for others.